This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Should I start? Yes, cluster analysis. What yesterday in on this platform, you have learned about regression, correlation, and some parametric
प्लीज
test, non-parametric test.
सारे अटेंडी म्यूट करें खुद को।
स्टार्ट कीजिए सर।
Okay, okay. So in cluster analysis, it is class of techniques classifying to classify the objects into groups that are relatively homogeneous within themselves and heterogeneous between each others on the basis of the set of variables. These groups are called clusters. Cluster analysis is also called the classifying analysis or numerical taxonomy. As we all know that uh, many times in our research we try to cluster the cases, or we can say objects of similar characteristics. For an example, if a company in marketing department try to find out the customers who's having the same demand, same type of demand. So when we collect the data, in a consumer or in a mall or from any customers for any product, we are having the we collect the data from 100, 200 or lots of respondents, from lot of respondents. But these respondents we can say some replies are different for different variables. We collect the data with the help of questionnaire, and the all the it is impossible that all, yeah, some of them are replying exactly same. But with the help of cluster analysis we can find out some groups, we can find out the clusters whose customers are at, we can say, liking or dislikings are same, whose behaviors are same, whose choices are same. So this type of this are the use of cluster analysis. Many researchers are in confusion of that cluster analysis versus discriminant analysis. That means what is the difference between discriminant analysis and cluster analysis? As we know that both cluster analysis and discriminant analysis are concerned with classification. However, discriminant analysis required prior knowledge of the cluster or group membership for each objects or case studies to develop the classification case. That means with the help of discriminant analysis, we apply discriminant analysis when we already know that these respondents belong to this class and these respondents belong to this class. But when we don't know the classification or group of each respondent, then we apply the cluster analysis. Then that means in cluster discriminant analysis we have the prior knowledge of clusters of the group or group of membership. In cluster analysis we don't have the prior knowledge of groups. uh, Yesterday in your this FDP only, regression analysis is discussed. So regression analysis is applied when the dependent variables and independent variable both are continuous variable, both are metric. But discriminant analysis is applied. Discriminant analysis is also one type of regression analysis. It is applied when the dependent variable is categorical variable. That means either nominal scale or non-metric data. Then we can apply the discriminant analysis. And in cluster analysis, when we are want to group the objects, then we use discriminant analysis. Now there is also confusion in cluster analysis and factor analysis. So with the help of cluster factor analysis, we try to reduce the large number of variables. That means it is a dimension reduction technique. Factor analysis is a dimension reduction technique. That means if when we are collect the data with the help of questionnaire or with any source, then we collect the data with many variables on many variables, and some variables on in them are correlated to each other. So with the help of factor analysis, we find the factors which are correlated to each other, In contrast, in cluster analysis, a researcher try to reduce the large number of cases into a smaller number of clusters. That means factor analysis में हम variables के number of को reduce करते हैं. That means correlated variables को एक factor में include करते हैं, और cluster analysis में हम correlated cases को, objects को, respondents को एक group में introduce करते हैं. Now, this is the figure of cluster analysis. This is the data when before cluster analysis. That means we have collected the data on education and age, and this is, you can say, a scatter diagram. Now, after applying the cluster analysis, we can divide the complete data into 3 clusters: cluster 1, cluster 2, and cluster 3. That means these respondents are homogeneous, and these respondents are heterogeneous to each other. इनकी properties, इनकी characteristics approximate same है, इनके responses approximate same है, इनके responses approximate same है, और इस cluster 2 में जितने भी participants हैं उनके responses approximate same है. There are some statistical terms which we will use in cluster analysis. First is agglomeration schedule. The agglomeration schedule gives information on the objects or cases being combined at each stage of hierarchical clustering process. That means in the clustering process, how the objects or cases are combined to each other. This information we get with the help of agglomeration schedule. Then cluster centroid. The cluster centroid is the mean value of the variable for all the cases or objects in the particular cluster. That means in this cluster, if we see this cluster 1, what is the mean value of age and what is the mean value of education for cluster 1? That is, the mean value of age and the mean value of education in cluster 3 will lie in between this. So this is known as cluster centroid. Then cluster center. The cluster center are the initial starting points in non-hierarchical clustering. The clustering are built around these centers or seeds. That means there are two methods. One is hierarchical clustering and other is non-hierarchical clustering. In non-hierarchical clustering, where the cluster they start the clustering, we can say initial point of clustering, starting the clustering, is known as cluster center. Cluster membership indicates that in which cluster the particular case will belong. Then dendrogram. A dendrogram, or we can say that tree graph, is a graphical device to display the result of the cluster. That means with the help of dendrogram, we can check that which clusters, which cases are lying in which clusters, and the sequence of combining also we can get with the help of dendrogram. Then distance between cluster center. These distances indicates how separated the individual pair. जो individual pair है cluster में वो कितने separated है, क्योंकि ये hierarchical step by step आपका clustering होती है. Similarity and distance coefficient matrix. We will discuss all these points with the help of one example, so you will get it. Don't worry. A similarity and distance coefficient matrix is a lower triangular matrix containing pairwise distance between objects and cases. That means with the for each pair of cases, we get that how much these two are deviated, how much these two are distance. So if the distance is high, then they will lie in different cluster. If the distance is very lesser, then they will lie in first cluster, in one cluster only. This is the process of conducting the cluster analysis. First, the problem formulation. सबसे पहले हम problem को formulate करेंगे. And second, we have to choose the appropriate method of measuring the distance. There are different methods of measuring the distance. So with the help of this in second step, we will we'll choose appropriate method of measuring distance. Then third step, we choose select the appropriate method of clustering technique. That means they are non-hierarchical clustering and non-hierarchical clustering. Then checking the a decision regarding the number of clusters to be retained in the final solution, and then interpretation, and then we have to check that the model is good or not. Now I will try to explain these all 6 steps with the help of one example, and this is the example. A famous motorbike company wants to launch a new model of motorbike with some additional features. So before launching finally, they initiated, or we can say tested the market with the in few cities with the help of one questionnaire, and there are 7 questions in this questionnaire, rating from 1 to 9 points. These are the 7 questions which are included in the questionnaire. First is, I am trying very hard to understand the loan scheme offered by different banks to purchase the product when it will be coming in market. That means loan information. I am still in confusion whether to sell my old bike or not. My old bike is old fashioned. I want to get rid of it. My company has promised that for the incentive, if they will give the incentive, I will buy the new car, a new bike. I will not wait for the product performance in the market. The company is reputed and will certainly launch a quality product. Or 6th variable is, companies always claim high about its product. Let the product come in the market only, then I will take in. That means there are 7 variables, or we can say customers views, that they will check the performance of the bike in the road, or they will faith on the company, and so on. And the 7 variables, with the on 25 subjects, the data is collected with the help of questionnaire, and this is the data set. Now, so first is we can say problem identification, and which the most important thing is that which variables you want to include in your cluster analysis. Then second is choice of appropriate similarity measure. That the most we can say used measure is Euclidean distance or its square. Okay. And the Euclidean distance is the sum of squared, square root of the sum of squared difference between the values of each variable. I will explain it with the help of this formula. This is the formula of Euclidean distance. That means we have collected the data on k variables, and for each pair of objects, that means I and j, or each pair of cases I and j, we are calculating the Euclidean distance with the formula is under root summation xki minus xkj. The xki means for the kth variable, the value of kth variable for the case I, and the value of kth variable in the case of j. So this is the, we can say, formula to calculate the Euclidean distance, and sometimes we use this value, or sometimes we use squared Euclidean distance. Then the third step is selecting an appropriate clustering technique. There are 2 types of technique. One is hierarchical clustering approach, and other is non-hierarchical clustering approach. In hierarchical clustering approach, developed on a hierarchical or tree-like structure, it is of 2 types, that is agglomerative and divisible. And the non-hierarchical clustering allows subject to leave one cluster and join another in clustering forming process. This is the complete different methods, structure of the different method. Clustering method, one is hierarchical and other is non-hierarchical. In hierarchical, it is divided into 2 parts, agglomerative and divisible. In agglomerative, there is linkage method. There are 3 types of methods. There is single linkage method, complete linkage method, and average linkage method. And the second is variance method, where the word method is used maximum. And the next is centroid method. And in non-hierarchical method, there is sequential threshold, parallel threshold, and optimized partition. Maximum time optimized partitioning is used. So these are the method which we can use. We will solve the one example with the help of words method, and then you will understand that what's the clustering. So here we can, in agglomerative clustering, initially each subject occupied a separate cluster. That means each subject is identified as a cluster, and in this process of clustering, clusters are created by grouping the subjects into bigger and bigger clusters until all the subjects join a single cluster. That means in starting we say that all the objects, all the you know, objects are of are equal individual clusters, and in the sequence of or process of clustering, they join one by one, and in last when all becomes one cluster. In divisive clusters, as clear from the name itself, initially all the subjects or members are grouped into a single cluster, and then the clusters are divided until each subject occupy a single cluster. That means reverse of that. The agglomerative methods are widely used, and it is three methods are there: linkage method, variance method, and centroid method. We have discussed this. In single linkage method, the nearest neighbors approach is there. That means जिनका distance shortest होगा, the minimum distance cases are put it into the one cluster. In the complete linkage method, the farthest neighbor approach is used. That means the principle of longest distance is used. And the third is the average linked method. That means distance between the two clusters is defined in the term of average of the distance between all pairs of subjects. Now the variance method, in this method is mainly used to concentrate on minimization within the clusters. In definition only, I told you that within the clusters, the it is homogeneous, and between clusters it is heterogeneous. So in variance method, what we try to minimize the variance within the clusters, as we do in ANOVA. So the most common method is word method, and the third method is centroid method. In this, the distance between their centroids is measured, and two clusters are combined on the basis of the shortest distance between their centroid. This is the word method and centroid method. In word method, what we are doing, from in each cluster, the center point, centroid से each variables, each objects का distance को measure किया, and the total sum of square should be minimum. And in the centroid method, this is the centroid of one cluster, this is the centroid of second cluster, and this distance between the centroid, if this is minimum, then we will join these two clusters. If it is we can say large, then we will not join these clusters. And then there is non-hierarchical clustering method. This is also referred as k-mean clustering method. In practical, what we do, we first apply the hierarchical cluster method and find out that the optimum how many in how many clusters we have to classify these goals, these objects. And after that, in second stage, we apply the non-hierarchical method by we can say k-mean clustering analysis, and put the value of k in the analysis, and we will get the optimized partitioning in that. The non-hierarchical clustering method suffers with two major drawbacks. What are the two major drawbacks? First, one has to pre-specify the number of clusters. In k-mean cluster, we have to pre-specify the number of clusters, and what this we can do with the help of hierarchical clustering method. And the second is cluster center selection is arbitrary. That means in this, what they do, they initially with the, we can say, randomly choose three cases and specify the center of mean of that 3 or 4 cases, and that will become the cluster center. So these are the two disadvantages of this non-hierarchical clustering. Now we have taken the same example which we have discussed here. We are solving with this example with the help of SPSS. So what we will do, first we will open the data set, this data set. First we will open the data set, then we will click on analyze. After that we click on classify, we choose classify, then classify. First of all we will choose hierarchical cluster. As we choose hierarchical cluster and enter that, we will get this type of screen. We will get this type of dialog box. In this dialog box, in here in the first box, you will get all the variables. So select the variables and put in this variable list and label by cases. If you want to, you are having the name of the cases, you can put here. Here always string variable is inserted in this column. We cannot insert the numeric variable here. That means that if you have given the name of the respondents, you have collected the data by name, then you can put the name of these objects here. Then after that there is statistics is there, so you can select agglomerative statistics, proximity measure checkbox, and then continue. Then you have to select plot. Then you have to select plot. In plot you can select this dendrogram. Then method, you can select one. In method you can select word methods, then continue, and you get this these tables in your output window. First is case summary. These are the case summary. Here there are 25 observations are there, and all are all are valid. That means for each and every variables, all respondents are responded. We are not having any missing case. If there is any missing case, then the total cases, this missing and total becomes the total cases. This is proximity matrix, or we can say measure of dissimilarity. That means how much the first case and first case is differ 0, how much the first case is distance from the second case. So this is 92. This is the Euclidean distance, square of Euclidean distance, which we have calculated with the help of proximity matrix. And if for two variables for which the Euclidean distance is higher, or we can say smaller, will be joined first, and the variable and the objects who's having the Euclidean distance larger will not be joined. So the next is agglomeration schedule. This figure gives the information of how subjects are being clustered at each stage of the cluster analysis. See this table, it is very important table. These are the first cluster and second cluster, and these are the stage. First, these 11 and 17, these are very near to each other, you can say. Then 7 and 11 are the near to each other, and if any object repeated, then it will be shown here. Here the 11th object is repeated in the second stage, so it is there, the 11th object is repeated here. Here the 5th object is repeated here, fifth object is repeated here, then it is that 5th object is repeated at the third stage. Here the 13th object is repeated in this column 13. That means this here it is showing that in which stage it appears first, and in here at 14th stage it is appearing second in this clustering process. So the agglomeration schedule shows that how the different clusters, different objects are joined to each other, And here, with the help of coefficients, where the jump is maximum, where there is a jump, where the higher jump, before that we have to stop the clustering. I told you na, that augmentation schedule mein, initially we said that all are different clusters, and in one step by step we joined the objects, and in after 24 stage it will become on a single cluster. So we have to decide that where we have to stop this clustering process. So where there is the jump in this clustering process, we will stop our process. So here after 36 it is 42 coefficient, and after 42 it is 243 coefficient. So we will not move to this, we will stop here only. Yeah, that means how many cluster we will get here? First, second, or third, we will get 3 clusters here. Yes, this is cluster membership for each cases. In SPSS by default give the 2 to 5 cluster solution. That means for all the cases, if you want to classify all the cases into 2 clusters, then this is your solution. That means the first case, the fifth case, sixth case, ninth case, first case are in, and so on, are in first cluster, and the second case, third case, fourth case, seventh case, eighth case are in second cluster. If you want to classify the total objects into 4 clusters, then in the case 1, case 5, case 6, case 9, case 12, and case 15 belongs in, or case 19, case 22, and case 25 belongs to your first cluster. And in same way we can identify the cases belongs to the second cluster, and third cluster, and fourth cluster. Now you have to decide that your optimum clustering is what. When you are dividing or classifying your total cases into 2 clusters, or 3 clusters, or 4 clusters, and 5 clusters, we are having different methods to identify this. And the first method I told you, that we can check it that where there is a jump in coefficients in augmentation matrix, then we stop at that position only. Now this is dendrogram, and it is also the important part of clustering. I can say that most important part, because it shows the similarity between subjects considered. The cluster analysis interpreted, and it is interpreted from left to right. That means initially all these cases are, we have that these are the different clusters. Then the cases with minimum distance are grouped in one cluster. See there, 11 and 17. These are grouped in one cluster. 11, 17, and 7. Check this. 11 and 17. 11 and 17. This one. Or 17 and 11. We can say this. Here. Distance. How much distance is there? 11 and 17. 0 distance is there. That's why first we have joined these 2 cases. That means there is no distance between these 2 cases. Then 11 and 7 and 17, I think 7 and 17 also there is no distance. So these 2 objects are joined together, and in this way this dendrogram is prepared. And initially there is 24 clusters, and in the last there is only 1 cluster. This is 1 cluster, and this vertical line shows that how much the distance between each clusters. So here, this is the centroid point, this is the distance between first and second cluster, and this is the difference between second and third cluster. And if we are joining this all, if we are joining these 2, then this is 1 cluster, this is 1, and this is third. So finally, this becomes one cluster, and between the distance between these two is can be checked with the help of these two. So here, after third case, uh, there is that means first, second, and third. If we are joining these two or any two of these two and make want to make it two clusters, then the difference is very higher. So the optimum situation in this case is that divide the total objects into three clusters. With the help of dendrogram, we can identify or we can specify that how many clusters we should divide these total objects. Now, decision regarding the number of clusters to be retained in the final solution. In fact, there is no strict rule to adhere to determine the number of clusters. That means there is no hard and fast rule. This is the rule we have to apply to identify the number of clusters. The first is algorithm schedule and dendrogram, which we have discussed, that at the stage of 22 a sudden jump is there, so this is a stop point and the three cluster solution will be good solution in our case. Yes, this we have discussed. Then in dendrogram can also be used to determine the number of clusters. In cluster analysis, drawing the imaginary vertical lines through the dendrogram will present different cluster solution. In this, the first line represent the three cluster solution. This first line represent the three cluster solution. This first line represent the three cluster solution. Second line represent the two cluster solution, and this line represent the one cluster solution. In dendrogram, we check the vertical line from left to right. Drawing and the second line to this three cluster solution, two cluster solution. And the next method is this. The number of clusters can be determined by simply considering the relative cluster size. If we take simple frequency count of the cluster membership, then the number of clusters can be determined. So it can be seen from the table that their three cluster solution present a meaningful cluster solution here. After this, after three cluster, then two cluster, there is a huge jump. Here in one cluster there is 8 objects, second is 8, and the other is 9 objects. But here there is 16 and 9 objects. So huge jump is there. That's why we will go for three cluster solution. The same thing which we have discussed here. The cluster centered obtained through discriminant analysis. Here, with the help of discriminant analysis, we can find out the cluster centroid point. Then, check the model fit. Formally, procedure for testing statistical reliability of clusters are not fully defensible. Following are some ad hoc procedures to put the rough check. What using different distance measures and compare the results. That means we can use different methods or different distance measure and we can compare the result. We can split the data into two parts and delete some variables from the original set of variables. That means if we are applying the cluster analysis for 20 variables, we can apply then it for 10 variables, 12 variables, and so on. Now, non-hierarchical clustering. To get the optimum clustering solution, hierarchical clustering procedure must be used first to obtain the number of clusters, and then these are, yes, we have discussed this, that first we can apply the hierarchical clustering procedure, and then these number of clusters can be used on basis of the initial information for perform the k-mean cluster analysis, non-hierarchical clustering procedure. The k-mean cluster analysis typically involve minimizing the within cluster variation or equivalently the maximize the between cluster variation. In the hierarchical clustering method, the 3-cluster solution is obtained for the motorbike company. Example discussed in the same. Here, there are 3 clusters, and these are the cluster centers. Then after iteration, the cluster centers are changed. Here, these are the cluster membership, case number, then in which cluster they lie. This is this in non-hierarchical clustering, or we can say k-mean clustering, we will get our cluster membership in this form. That means the first case is lying in, or we can say the first case, 5th, 6th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 19th, and 22 and 25th case is lying in first cluster, and second, 4th, 8th, these cases are lying in second cluster, and so on. The cluster membership, as the name indicates, this figure shows the cluster membership information. Distance column, distance between the subjects and the cluster center is given. That means here, this is the distance between the cluster and cluster center. This is final cluster centers. After we can say rescheduling, this is the final cluster centers. Values, it can be seen that first cluster has high cluster center values on the variable x1, x3, and x5. x1, x3, and x5, this is high cluster center. This cluster are also a relatively low values and variable x6. Cluster second cluster has relatively high cluster center values for variable x6. This is the distance between final cluster centers from cluster 1 to cluster 2. The center and the distance between the cluster centers is 9.840, and if the cluster centers is the distance between the cluster center is higher, then we can say that the clustering is very good, or we can say good fitted. The model is good fitted. Shows between the cluster. A relatively large value indicate that the cluster are different from each other. What is our objective? Our objective is to identify the objects in who are having the same attitude, same response. So if between clusters the distance is higher, then that means it indicates that the your clustering analysis is good. This is a mean ANOVA table, which shows that how your clustering analysis, that here all the significant values are 0, so and the f values are very higher, so it shows that it is good fitted. The same thing. Okay. These are the number of cases. See, here also the number of cases 9, 8, and 8. And with the when we have calculated applied this hierarchical method, then also the number of cases are 9, 8, and 8. So with the help of hierarchical method, we can find out the value of k for non-hierarchical method. Okay. This is all about from my side. If any query. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. Welcome.
बहुत अच्छा रहा आपका, बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव और बहुत वैल्यूएबल है सभी लोगों के लिए। और आगे का क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में डॉक्टर विनीता लाल और डॉक्टर अरविंद सर को इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी। विनीता मैम।
हाँ मैडम, हाँ मैडम। Sir, I have one question. How can clustering be used to improve the accuracy of linear regression model?
Accuracy of
Accuracy of linear regression model.
linear regression model. Listen here, cluster disturbance is there.
स्क्रीन ऑफ कर लीजिए बाकी लोग.
With the help of clustering, we clustered the cases. Not variables. Please switch off your audio. With the help of clustering, we groups the cases, not the variables. And in linear regression, we apply the linear regression on the we can say variables. So to improve the efficiency of linear regression, we should apply the factor analysis in place of regression analysis, because this is the assumption of regression analysis that all the variables should be independent to each other.
Okay, sir.
That means to improve the linear regression, we should apply the factor analysis on all variables, then apply the regression analysis.
Okay, sir. One question more. What could be the possible reason for producing two different dendrograms using agglomerative clustering algorithm for the same data sheet?
No, this is the dendrogram is same for both the things. There is no different dendrogram. This is same dendrogram. We have presented it in different ways.
Okay,
This is same dendrogram presented in different ways.
Okay, okay. अरविंद जी, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? डॉक्टर अरविंद. I think no more.
अभी ईमेल और फेसबुक पे कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया अभी.
ठीक. क्रांति मैडम, हो गया.
ओके, थैंक यू विनीता मैम एंड अरविंद सर. और सर दुष्यंत सर, अब कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है आगे, तो मैं एक फॉर्मल थैंक यू के लिए डॉक्टर राघवेंद्र सर को इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी. डॉक्टर राघवेंद्र.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thank you for this session. I, Dr. Raghvendra Narayan, on behalf of organizing committee and entire fraternity present over here, and on my own behalf, I would like to thank you, sir. Thank you very much for delivering a very nice lecture, a very informative lecture, which covered everything in the cluster analysis, and you have delivered your valuable lecture with a lot of examples, even using SPSS, how to use it in SPSS. I think it is very much benefited to the participants. In the last, I would like to again thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot, and thanks to Kranti ma'am and Poonam ma'am also. He has supported a lot. We are facing some problem in PPT sharing, and she supported a lot. Okay. Thanks to all the organizer and all team. Okay, thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thanks, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
This session is over there. For next session, I would like to invite Dr. Raghvendra sir to host the next session.